may not be improper in the first place to inform your watchers that I intend twice a week to present them by the help of these videos with a short epistle which I presume will add somewhat to their entertainment. My name is Frankie, though it has taken me a certain length of time for it to arrive at this name. My father, George, a man whose intelligence and wisdom has been passed on to his 4 doting children, the other 3 of which I hope you will meet if they let me film them, has accomplished something I would have never thought possible. He has brought the dead back to life. Now, I wasn't there to witness this momentous occasion. None but my father was. He's never explained the process to me, but that's just as well. The act of denying rest to a departed soul seems too overwhelming to imagine, much less to know how it might be done. As the papers will tell you, just over 100 years ago, the papers reported that a great mass of bodies had been stolen over the course of one evening. The bodies were never found, and the culprits were never caught. But today, with this video, you now know the truth. My family are grave robbers. Grave robbers and also scientists and also historians. It is my belief that scattered throughout this world there are a few nondescript homes that you would hardly lend but a passing glance at, that secretly house some of the most famous people history has ever known. They are being raised by robbers and privately educated for years, all while the images of the men and women they once were hang over their beds. And at night, these young adults go to sleep plagued by visions of the past, never knowing that with each passing day, they are getting closer and closer to realizing who they once were.
Look at this dining table. It's intact.
Well, the owners must have left in a hurry.
You take the dining room. Take lots of pictures. I'm gonna go over here. Carrie, don't freak out, but I found something really bad.
Polly, keep your voice down. Who knows who could be in there?
Please tell me you're a ghost. That'd be so cool to get on video.
Polly? Oh, hey, we mean you no harm. We thought this house was empty, but obviously we were wrong, so we're just...
Sit!
Look, we were just on our way out and...
Sit down.
So, ghost or...
Hey, put the camera down.
But what if we're witnessing life after death? Do you know what that can mean for science?
You're a scientist?
Well, I'm going to school.
That's wonderful. Did you say your name was Polly?
Well, it's Mary, but my friends call me Polly.
Houston.
Yeah, that's... How did you know that?
I think it's time to go. Polly, we have to go.
Franklin?
Polly?
What's this?
A camera.
I know it's a camera, but what are you recording?
Life. For the purposes of my own self-improvement.
Why do we have to be here?
Because for the last 25 years, I've known only 3 other people. You're the first strangers I've ever met. How did you come to find this place?
We got an email from a guy. He said he was an urban explorer. Said the place was abandoned. Clearly, he was wrong.
Wait, are there other people here?
My family. 2 brothers and a sister.
And you guys live in this place with barely any power? Some lights and some candles? I mean, I guess it gives the place some atmosphere.
Wait, where are all these brothers and sisters?
I didn't want to wake them at so late an hour. I couldn't sleep because of my rather large revelation. I had to record it. In the morning, I should arrange a meeting.
In the morning? You seem to think we'd want to stay here.
I take it you're not a curious person by nature, Mr. Lawson. How did you come by that name anyway?
I was born with it.
I've heard a name like it before in my studies, but I can't recall it now. I'm afraid you'll be getting more of those, Miss Hewson.
You still haven't explained how... I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there.
My brother Albert has those changes. He sometimes sounds French. I think it is part of the past self interfering. I know this must sound strange to you. You have no reason to believe I am who I say I am. But if you care at all for your friend here, you must understand that something strange is happening to her.
Carrie, look, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe these people are crazy, but she knew my name and I knew hers. I can't explain it, but it's like those dreams you keep telling me about.
What are you talking about?
About that guy coming to your house, dressed like he's from the American Revolution.
That's private.
I know that, Carrie, but when Frankie touched my arm, I could see myself in that era. With a gown on, sitting at a desk, writing a letter to my preceptor.
To your what?
Her teacher. That would be me.
I know this sounds crazy, Carrie, but you have to believe me. I wouldn't lie to you. But what if it's true? What if all those bodies that were stolen all those years ago were stolen for a reason? What if they managed to bring people back?
They did. And if you go to the basement, you will find 4 bodies. Send those off to the appropriate people, and they will discover they are the bodies of Jefferson, Hamilton, Gallatin, and well, myself.
Ollie.
They were wearing clothes from the 18th century. I mean, it could be them.
But why would their bodies be in Canada?
I mean, no one would ever suspect Canada.
Alice, I heard shouting. What's... Marilyn, you've been ill. Go back to sleep.
So now you're inviting guests without telling us?
And in the middle of the night? Who are these people?
Marilyn, your doors were open.
Hello.
Good evening, madame. I'm afraid we don't know each other. To what do we owe the pleasure and so late at night?
To be honest, we're unexpected intruders.
What?
We didn't mean to. We thought the place was abandoned. We didn't know anyone lived here, let alone you have bodies in your basement.
I would have thought you'd be used to the idea of bodies in the basement by now, Polly.
Who told you to come here?
His name was George Thrice.
Our father.
It's a bit archaic to write with a quill.
One might point out the audacity of judging someone after you've broken into their home.
We didn't mean to.
Quiet.
Maybe I should point out the audacity of you having bodies in your basement and not having any concern about it.
My father is researching them.
No, research is when you read about them, not when you take their bodies and do God knows what with it.
Frankie has given you permission to return the bodies to their graves. Isn't that enough to satisfy you?
No?
You look at me as if I'm a page in a fascinating book. Are you studying me for future poetry?
What makes you think I write poetry?
Something in those dark eyes of yours. Wisdom and pain. Are those not the typical traits of a poet?
Yeah, but doesn't mean anything. Hey, why are you filming this?
Alice insisted.
Alice?
You know her as Frankie. As of today, she has come to the conclusion that she is Benjamin Franklin.
And who does she think you are?
Don't know. Maybe no one. But perhaps I should be asking who you are. You are the intruder in my house.
Are you scared of me?
Maybe a little. But not for the reason you'd think.
So what reason is it?
perhaps I just need to get used to strangers.
Hamilton.
What?
It's where I'm from. I run a group for people who come from troubled homes.
Yes.
Well, I just thought that if we turn these bodies in and they turn out to be the bodies that everybody was looking for, then, well, your dad might go to jail. And maybe you'll need some place to go.
I'm not some helpless little orphan. I can take care of myself were something to happen. Headaches, visions, kidney problems, and malaria. Life has dealt me a bad hand.
You need to see a doctor.
Go and return the bodies, Carrie, and forget about all this.
How can I?
I'm not the sort of person that's worth remembering.
Marilyn, don't go. I can't leave you like this.
I think you may have overstayed your welcome here, sir. Perhaps you should go.
Perhaps you should have your sister see a doctor. Does she seriously have malaria?
You need to go.
No. I think I'll stay for a while.
Look, I know you think you're being gallant, but trust me, Marilyn is the last person who needs a knight in shining armor.
Well, if you won't take care of her, then I will.
I don't think I was meant to be born a woman. I'm certainly not gifted in any of the typical female occupations.
And Carrie would have been better as a mother of hundreds.
Hey.
It's not an insult. You're the most loving man I've ever known.
Maybe he was once born a woman as I was born a man.
Good book?
Do not think that my opinion of you as an intruder to this house will change merely because you attempt to make polite conversation.
Look, you have every right to be upset.
Why haven't you left yet?
Look, I can't explain it, but
But like a plant, you've got to put down roots.
People aren't plants, Alice. And furthermore, don't think that just because you've compared Polly to my lifelong love of botany, I shall begin to like her.
Don't mind Thomas, Polly. It's just because he's in front of a camera. He gets terribly shy in front of the presence of an audience.
Audience? You said we were not going to be putting these films in front of anybody.
I'm sorry, I know you're better at writing than speaking. Where's Albert? Perhaps he'll speak on your behalf.
I have a better idea. I shall go read in the kitchen. Enjoy your tea.
He's a bit snippy.
Oh, he gets like that sometimes. I don't want to be Miss Addertongue again, but truthfully, he's a brilliant man whose brilliance shines through in his actions, which involve no amount of communication with others. Were we to limit him to letters, he'd charm the lot of us.
you called him Thomas. You're kidding.
I have my suspicions.
What are you sewing there?
I'm not quite sure, truthfully.
Here, let me. My mom taught me when I was younger. I made one of these for you once.
I remember.
You said, and you wrote me saying, I shall think of you in the wearing as you did of me in the making. How did I know that? I've never read a word of your letters, but the words just came to me.
As if no time had passed.
Am Am I on drugs? This can't be happening.
It's quite real.
I'm not crazy.
Well, there is a sort of madness in being highly intelligent. In that respect, I'm afraid you've gone round the bend. You might need a doctor.
It's a good thing we have you.
Are you seriously flirting with someone who might be nuts?
I'm nuts. What kind of nuts?
Cashews. They're very sweet.
Perhaps we should leave them to their own devices, Carrie.
Hey, you need to rest.
Watch out, Marilyn. You may have found your Florence Nightingale in Carrie.
Who?
You two are like children. What is that thing you're holding in my face?
It's a phone.
A phone.
Yeah, you use it to call people, take videos.
Well, don't get that in front of Marilyn. Remember the first time you let her talk in front of a camera?
7 hours on the proper way to run a household.
7 hours.
Ah, but you stayed awake during the entire sermon, didn't you?
It's difficult to contemplate sleep when you're annoyed.
What are you doing?
A treasurer enters the fray. Point the camera and see what he'll say.
What?
Don't take Frankie's bait, Albert. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Perhaps I speak to you instead of the camera?
Of course. What do you want to talk about?
Ethnology.
What?
I thought I could study it. Monty, I'm wondering what we might all do once we finally leave this house. I thought we might go to school. University of Virginia, perhaps. Father always told us about it.
Founded by a slave owner. University of Pennsylvania. That was on Father's list. Monty?
New York University.
Why there?
I'm not sure. I just connected with it instantly.
But the founder was an immigrant.
Well, why should that make a difference?
Gallatin was a foreigner. Judging by the way you treated Carrie and Polly when they came to our house.
They were intruders, not foreigners.
I'm sorry you feel that way. But as the eldest member of our household, I will make the decisions around here. And I say they should stay and be our guests.
If they would like to stay, perhaps they should help us out on our farm. I've told Father we need help. And he told me that given my situation in life, it would be unwise to encourage my desire for help.
Well, you told Father you didn't want to pay them.
Because I have no money. None of us do. I bet Father does. I work our farm until my hands bleed. And when I showed him, he told me it was no more than I deserve.
I've tried to speak to him about his mistreatment of you, Monty, but he won't hear it. He works you harder than us all.
Why, if he didn't, we wouldn't have these fine clothes. 100% cotton.
I've read about how wool is great for cold winters, but Father won't let me get us any sheep. No, it's cotton picking for you, Monty, or nothing.
You don't think our father hates you, do you, Monty?
In every hard job, there is a lesson to be learned. I just haven't figured out what that is yet.
Father just wants what's best for you. You're the eldest male in this house, Monty. He's teaching you to be strong. It doesn't have to be that he's doing this because he's cruel.
It's not just the work. Albert, he keeps us like caged birds.
Now he sent Carrie and Polly to free us, to fulfill our purpose.
We don't even know what that means. And don't even say it, Alice. We are not reincarnations of anyone.
Believe what you will, Monty, but you can't deny that my opinion might hold water. 4 of us, 4 bodies, all of us kept sequestered by Father for reasons he keeps shrouded in mystery. You constantly having dreams about the past, then reading books about the American Revolution that match up to the events from those dreams. Finally, maybe the reason you're being put to all this work is for you to realize the punishing labor the Jefferson slaves went through. Maybe there will be no freedom for you, Thomas. Not for you. Not this time.
Right. Well, I'm going to bed. Albert, Alice, Polly, good night.
Mere postulations, Monty.
I might be wrong, but if you are who I think you are, this is your chance at redemption.
Good night, Frankie.
So you must think I'm Gallatin then. Don't suppose I have a million foibles to make up for, do I?
I had such a good sleep, and... Carrie, what's that?
It's Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, okay. Did you bring up all these bodies yourself?
Oh, I couldn't sleep. I'm surprised you did. You don't know these people, Polly. Frankie could have killed you in your sleep.
She wouldn't do that.
She's a stranger. You don't know what she's capable of.
I do, actually.
You actually believe what she told you?
If Frankie told me that she was Benjamin Franklin from the beginning, I wouldn't have believed her. But she didn't. She touched my arm and I knew. I can't prove it. I can't just open up my skull and show you what I saw. If you don't believe these people, you can at least believe me. I wouldn't lie to you, Carrie. Where's everyone else?
They're probably sleeping.
I meant the bodies.
Oh, I can only bring up one at a time.
And why was Alexander Hamilton your first choice?
I don't know. Does there have to be a reason?
I guess not. Hey, you handled these bodies with care, right? You wouldn't want to damage them.
Hey, don't touch my Hamilton, okay?
Carrie, are you crying?
No? I mean, obviously I'm crying. It's because I'm so happy. Because we're gonna be the founders of the founders, Polly. You know how much money and fame we're gonna get from this?
You said my Hamilton.
Obviously I meant our Hamilton because it's our discovery.
That we discovered by mistake.
Yeah, well, all the best discoveries are by accident. Look, I set the camera. I'm gonna get the rest of them. You just make some sciencey statement for the police and tell them our names and stuff, okay?
Okay, Polly. Now's your chance to prove yourself. Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Houston. We just discovered 4 bodies that we believe belong to several American founding fathers. If we're correct, it could be one of the greatest discoveries in the last 50 years. We found these bodies at a Kingston house in Ontario. We thought the place was abandoned, but it wasn't. The evidence of these being the long sought after bodies are corroborated by 4 individuals who claim their father, Mr. George Thrice, was the thief. This is their house, which technically means that we're guilty of breaking and entering, which is illegal. But turns out this area is full of illegal activity, so you can't really arrest us. Don't look at me like that, Hamilton. I never claimed to be good at speeches. Let's get you back to where you belong.
What are you doing?
Carrie, you scared me. I just wanted another look.
Well, go look at the other bodies then.
You're awfully protective over him. I thought you said you were going downstairs.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said it.
Okay, yeah, well, I must have got distracted or something. Look, why don't you go get the other bodies and I'll stay here and look over Alexander, okay?
Yeah, you never know when someone's gonna try and shoot him again.
Don't say that.
Sorry. A bit rude.
I'm gonna take you back, Alexander. You'll finally get justice for the people who took you away.
I'm sorry I won't be joining you when you go to America.
We'll stay in touch. And anyway, we've lived together for 25 years. I think it's time we start seeing other people. I heard you had a fight with Monty. You called him a slave owner?
I think that Father is punishing him for what he did in a past life.
You keep talking about our past lives. What makes you so sure that we are who you say we are?
Isn't it odd that we've all had constant visions of events that match up with Franklin and Hamilton's lives?
It's just... Look, you love your brothers and I, don't you?
Of course.
Maybe, like a parent who wants to believe their child is extraordinary, you've cooked up this story that we were founding fathers just to try and make us feel better about the fact that we're stuck in a house with no contact with the outside world, no hope of ever seeing another person.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm not Alexander Hamilton, Alice. I'm just a woman who's getting out of this house and starting a new life. Thank you for the jacket. You look tired.
I couldn't sleep.
Sorry. I can take care of myself, Elijah.
It's Carrie.
Right. The pain comes and goes.
Well, when you leave this house, I'll take care of you.
You don't know me. You have no reason to...
I'm sorry
For what?
for making you wait 50 years.
75, actually.
What's happening?
What? You don't recognize me, Franklin? I can't expect that you would, and it's been so many years, but... And we're different now.
Did you know all along?
No, just when I came in here. It's not the first time they brought me back.
What?
I think you guys need to sit down for this. I think I do too. The ham sandwich, I call it. Mary Hamlin and George Arliss. They wrote the first play about Alexander. But when the scientists found out I was trying to spell out Hamilton's name, they killed me. I can't remember how, but they brought me back. So I decided to keep on trying to spell out his name. I already had an H and an A from Hamlin and Arliss, so I just needed an M. I just had this crazy idea. Just look at the word Lynn in her name, and wouldn't you know it? Hamlin, Arliss, Miranda, the ham sandwich.
You just did that for fun, didn't you? There would have been no reason to think it was you.
Yeah, I didn't even need to make the ham sandwich anyway. But Marilyn, someone brought you back before your recent play.
You didn't even know you were his wife at that point.
I know. It must have been done subconsciously.
So what do we do now? We just accept that we are incarnations of people from the past, and we just walk out of the house with that knowledge?
With the bodies?
With the bodies?
I suppose so.
What if Father tries to stop us? Frankie, it may have been in his plans to bring Polly and Carrie to us, but that doesn't mean he's gonna let us leave.
We have to try. What's our other option? Stay here forever?
They've brought people back before just to have them killed. Weren't you listening to what Carrie just said?
We were raised, Monty, to ultimately leave this place. That's what Father always said. We're leaving. You can stay here forever if you want.
Marilyn.
Yes?
If we really are the people that Alice, Frankie says we are, then I'm glad that we had 25 years together. And without fighting about the same things we used to in the past. I respect Hamilton. If I'm truly Thomas, then that means he respected you too. Despite everything. I have a lot of debts to repay. Not the least of which is to Sally Hemings. If we're free, then I want to go out there and free the others.
Starting with whom?
You could start with the other reincarnations still out there.
How do we find them?
Luckily, we only have the entire world to comb through, so our job is really easy.
Or we could start with Bellevue.
Bellevue.
Yeah, I heard our father talking about it.
That's a place pretty close by.
That's convenient. Why not just scatter these people across the globe?
I mean, Kingston is where our first prime minister lived. Bellevue was one of his first homes. It doesn't have to be Bellevue, though. There's plenty of places with that name.
So we split up. We take all of the information that Father gave us over the years, and we use it to find everyone. I need paper.
So are we all supposed to go on our own?
Only if you want to.
Why bring me back?
Someone clearly felt that all of us were important enough to grant us a mulligan on our lives.
Albert was Jefferson's treasurer, whom everyone hated because he was foreign.
The person who revived you clearly didn't hate you.
I'm not Hamilton. I can't be theatrical like he can be. The only thing we have in common is that we're both foreign-born orphans who became treasurers.
You'd be surprised, Albert. Orphan immigrant treasurers are a pretty hot commodity these days.
Maybe I should just stay here.
Your choice, Albert.
My name is Albert. For 25 years, I've lived here with my brother and 2 sisters. We were equal once, all of us suffering from the same ailment of visions from the past. I thought we were the same, but we're not. My family, they're founding fathers, so why should they pay any attention to me? I don't call attention to myself. I'm no Franklin or Jefferson or Hamilton. They're important. People like me and people like Polly, we're accessories, really. Tiny jewels meant to hang on the necks of more important people. No matter how much we do, our importance is always seen in relation to other great people, so what's the point? Who wants to hear about the Gallatin and the Houstons of the world when you can hear about the founding fathers? But maybe that's exactly why people need to listen to our stories. Hamilton wasn't a president, he was support staff as I was to Jefferson. And the great are nothing without the small. A house is nothing without its foundation. I don't know why we're here or who brought us back, but whoever you are, maybe you're like me. Support to someone else thinking that you're not important because you're not on top of the pyramid. If I don't go out there, if I don't decide to stand up, then who is there to speak for the people? Who speaks for the small when the great won't relate to you? I hope we find the others, and I need to help.